Welcome and thank you, everybody. It's been an incredibly emotional last few hours. And, my career was really put into doubt. All the sacrifice I've made was, really put doubt. It was really put forward that I'm, dealing with a lot of challenges at this time. And that my career was put into question. But what can we do, baby? What can we do? We can just keep going. We can just keep going. We can keep pushing forward. We can keep celebrating. And not only that, we can, keep doing the pieces of content that the real fans want. And that's what we're doing tonight. We're doing it old school tonight. I'm saying screw the effing detractors. In fact, this duty streams. I got a couple words that I'm going to say to kick off the program in regards to him. And it would be, screw your whore disabled daughter. Screw your whore gold digging wife. Screw your dead effing trust fund parents. And screw this environment of hate that you've cultivated. And quite frankly, I'll see you in hell, sick bastard. So now that that's out of the way, what do we got, baby? What do we got? Damn right. Vangelis grew with the first donation, and he's saying it loud and he's saying it proud, baby. Detractors, get out. Because this is for the real fans. This is the passion. These are the eras. This is the time in my life that I want to give to the real fans. And if you don't like it, if it's not hateful enough, if it's not tearing somebody down to the lowest, then get the F out. Because this is what we're doing. And I'm going to start off. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to eat some Burger King. And I'm going to chat with the real fans. So what's up tonight? Did you watch the Jays win, brother? No, I did not. But I do plan on watching the New Jersey Devils destroy that effing Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. So let's hope that happens. I'm just going to unwrap my Burger King here. Yeah, I've crossed back the street, baby. I've crossed back the street. Jamie, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the kind words. We got Banjo Friend, who is an incredible, real friend of the channel. We got Critique the Critics here. Thank you so much, guys. 32 Fret 66C has super sad $10, and he says, duty is a malnourished skeleton with no integrity, no respect to the detractors that use the Giga Chad Swole men as their profile. Insecurities. Yes. His issues relating to his, diagnosis, whatever spectrum he's under, is no longer an excuse for his behavior or any of these other detractors' behavior. So we're going to start calling them accountable for, what they're doing. They can't hide anymore. Thank you. Banjo Friend has gifted a sub here tonight. Thank you so much. I can't wait to get started tonight, because tonight I'm emotional. Tonight is a night where we are gonna not only talk about my history, and one of the moments in gaming I really do look back fondly. And I didn't look back fondly at it at the time. But as we move forward into this modern generation now, it's truly become one of my ultimate bedside comforts. And, I wanted to talk about it. I'm going to enjoy my Burger King right now. To the victor go the spoils. Oh, yeah. Like I said, man, I can taste 1999. I don't think the fans wanted to see me cross the street to McDonald's. I truly don't think they did. Also got my energy drink here. Oliver's wanting to join. Now, everybody, I want to, I didn't get fries this time, Jamie. I didn't get fries. I didn't trust them. I didn't trust them to fill up the effing fries. So I just got a couple of burgers. Now, something really emotional is coming up this month. And no, this isn't, you know, grifting like some of these other effing boneheads. This is just, you know, an announcement. Somebody I'm very proud of, Oliver the cat. It's his birthday coming up next week on Halloween. So I just want everybody to, all I ask for is just a happy birthday to Oliver. He's going to be turning 15. And he's an incredible animal. But yes, today on Hot for Physical, this is episode 5 that we're doing. We are going to just cover PS3. We're going to look at some of the systems. We're going to look at some of the accessories. We're also going to look at some of the games and why I think, you know, if you are a physical collector, now's the time. Oh, you know what? You can go screw yourself, base channel, telling me to put the fries in the bag. You know what? If I was putting fries in a bag, what would be wrong with that? Do you have something like this Cell Streams? Like all these other losers, these DSPF and bonehead artists that try to say to me, put the fries in the bag. Well, what is wrong with putting the fries in the bag? You know, do you have something against minimum wage heroes out there on the front line? You know, because that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. Oh, here we got another one. Money Man 88. I guess Duty Streams isn't giving his body to his fans, so you gotta walk across the street to my effing channel, is it? It's an honest living. It's an honest living, and I don't like I said, we had viewers of the channel that worked at a garbage dump. But, you know, do I look down at him? Do I, you know, put his career into question? No, I don't. I celebrate all walks of life here. So I'm going to take my sip of my energy drink. I'm going to finish my burger. I'm going to chat with the fans. And then we're just going to get right into it. Because like I said, there's a lot of questions going forward, you know, in relation to my career, how much I can give. So until it's that time, I'm going to give everything I can. I'm going to leave no stone unturned, and I'm not going to leave one single effing DSP detractor effing bonehead unspoken about. Damn right. So before we get into it, why don't we hear what was your first memory of the PS3? Were you an early adopter of the console? Were you somebody who got it a little later on? Is why I stuffed my face here. What? No, there's nothing wrong with giving my body. It's not gay. It's sacrifice, damn it. Oh yeah, right, Ben Stroking. It's a shame I ghosted the casino boys. It's a shame I didn't go get an RCMP outfit and walk around in public for some effing stupid, you know, like, that's ridiculous. It could have been fun. Yeah, me ending up with a charge while they laugh and joke about it on their effing Wayne's World. Oh yeah, that's real fun. Banjo friend. I got the Batman Asylum game and Infamous for the PS3. Yeah, we spoke about Banjo talking about Infamous, and he really celebrated that. I do agree with you. It's a bit strange for Duty to present as a successful individual, but he spends each day obsessing exactly. Like, you know, he is just a loser. Like I said before, if he's got this, you know, long Moroccan flowing hair and the brown complexion and successful wife has a life, Like I said, I think it's a bedroom thing. You know, I think that he can't get his private parts up unless he feels power by putting someone else down. And, you know, I'm sure that's a reason why he has the disabled daughter, because his sperm count isn't strong. That's my opinion. That's how I see it. Now, we're really going to get forward here. I'm just about to finish my first burger. Hell yeah, we're back. We got some nice music in the back. And we're going to celebrate PS3. Now, I'm going to start because I was getting older at this time. I actually had a friend, and he's passed away now, burning in hell, I'm sure. He's passed away now, but he was a friend of mine. He was into the gaming. We lived in the same trailer park, and he had the PS3. And during that time, we would kind of go back and forth to each other's houses and play games for a few hours after school, here and there. So we weren't really like best friends, but we were friends for a period. And he got the PS3, and that's when I first kind of seen it in action. And I remember he was playing Resistance: The Fall of Man. And this was really in the peak. This was really the peak of the release. And I remember thinking, and you can doubt me or you can believe what I say, I wasn't that hot. I really wasn't. You know, I watched him playing Resistance: Fall of Man, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, you know, I have the Warriors at home. Like, I have Bully at home. I have San Andreas at home. You know, so many. Resident Evil 4. You know, at that time, I owned, you know, about 20, 30 games. And it was like True Crime Streets of New York. Like, I owned so many of the hottest games that were, like, out at that time. So when I seen it initially, I wasn't really that hot for it. And I was happy with my PS2. Eventually, though, as more showcase titles were being announced, yeah, Bully is good. Backwards compatible PS3 ruled. Yeah, but they screwed the consumers. Oh, thank you, Jamie. You did not have to do that. Like I said, there's no expectation of support tonight. The fans want to support because they want to support. They want to support someone being positive, giving his body, giving his soul, giving his memories. I don't have to sit here and get my dick hard by trashing somebody else and making that a part of my career. I'm not doing it. They'll get theirs. But yes, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. We also, Vangelis Grew is making a sacrifice. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get emotional here. I'm gonna get hot. Let's hear it for the Devils tonight. Fans. Screw Toronto. But anyway, so I was content with my PS2. Like, PS2, one of the most, like, oh, thank you, Vangelis, with those 5 memberships. Let's make it hot tonight. No, this is for you guys. This is for you guys. Yo, people are wanting me to sim tonight, baby. Oh, we got this effing loser Sasquatch Afterbirth, another effing, you know, terminally online DSP Detractors. This is weird. But he'll sit there and watch hours upon hours of people tearing, you know, somebody down to the lowest. What's weird about sharing my passion, coming on here after all the sacrifice that I've made? Like, how dare you? Get him out of here. Because this Hot for Physical series is for the real fans. 100% for the real fans. Now, 32 fret 66C has made a sacrifice, and he has super chatted $50 effing dollars tonight. $50 effing dollars. And you know what? Whether it's 50, whether it's 5, whether it's 10 cents, I do appreciate the support, but it is not expected tonight. We're gonna, this is for you guys. This is for the real fans. And if somebody pisses me off, I'm not holding back anymore. I've been abused. I've been mentally molested. I'm on the edge of losing, like, my career, my brand. So if I'm gonna go out, I'm going out in a ball of glory. Absolutely. So here we go. Anyway, as I was saying, I mean, the PS2 had already hit its absolute peak. It was like at the edge of its processing power. So when I first came across PS3, I wasn't really convinced. I wasn't really convinced that it was going to be something that I wanted. Until later on, I feel the first title that really had me hot. Okay, do we have any mods? Get this Money Man 88 out of here who's questioning what I've been through. Who's questioning the abuse that I've suffered. Until you're in my shoes and you've dealt with this abuse that I'm going through, you'll never know. So get the F out. I'm trying to actually do a Hot for Physical episode here. We're getting a lot of gifted subs. I just see more from Jamie. But like I said, I'm not expecting it. This is for you. This is for the fans. But I appreciate it. But honestly, I'm fed up. I've taken enough abuse. And I'm fighting back. And the way I fight back is by giving everything I can for the real fans. So let's see, my Super Slim is having PSU problems. I have the Super Slim. I have the Super Slim now, and it is going to be a sad day. Because as I say, with my career in question, if I have to go back into the bed and spend the majority of my time in bed, it's going to be with my PS3. Like, absolutely, it's going to be with my PS3. And we're going to do a showcase why. Now, there's a lot of different variants. There is a lot of different variants. We started with the original fat console, which looks like he spilt some effing water all over it or some crap. But this was the original. This was the original that we had in our living rooms, if you guys remember. I kind of thought, I mean, it was in a way very futuristic. But at the same time, it was kind of ugly. It was kind of very, like, out of place. And they've kind of continued on that trend. I think a lot of PlayStation consoles are kind of ugly. I think PS2 was okay. PS2 original. I like consoles that just look like a DVD player, that you can just have on the shelf. If you got a piece of ass on the couch with you, you don't have to explain away, what that is. And that's how I kind of feel currently about the PS5. That it's very much gonna, if you have a 7, 8 out of 10 piece of ass on the couch with you, not only do you have to fire up the Netflix, you have to fire it up on the PS5, which is like a monstrosity to look at. It's like a living room cancer. So it is what it is. Now, I did own one. My first experience, of course, with the PS3 was the Killzone bundle. Yes, Levitt, it was super expensive. And actually, this was the last console. Even though I was getting up in age, this was the last console I begged my effing parents. I begged my mother. I begged my mind of a child father. I begged my still living, soon to be deceased grandfather. I begged my grandmother. We got the whole family in on it. And I did get one. I did get one. And I don't think we see it here. I think at the time it was actually a Walmart exclusive. But I did get the PS3 Killzone bundle. And man, when I first got my hands, I mean, yes, PS2 was hot. But when I got my hands on the controller, and yes, it takes a village. It takes a village for us coming up through hard times in those eras. It took a village at times to get our hands on some of these hot consoles. And you know, that's kind of why I have reverence. Okay, you know what, G-Man King? You can go F yourself. This is a career. And I'm building a career off positivity. I'm not building a career off circle jerking, you know, abusive effing boneheads that want to tear people down to the lowest. So get the F out, please. This is a stream that means something to me, god damn it. And I'm giving myself to the real fans. And I will say, you know, all you effing, you know, DSP effing detractors, you can go F yourself tonight, because this is our careers. This is our moment. So anyway, when I got my hands on the PS3 and I had it hooked up, and man, I mean, we're talking, when I had it on, when I had an effing PS3 hooked up, I mean, I swear to God when I say this, it was probably like I think this is a computer monitor. And I mean, I'm sure it was the same, you know, for a lot of people. This is what I was playing it on, like something like this. Like, no effing joke. When I was effing playing PS3, man, for the first time, it was literally on something like this, probably, you know? Swear, like, hand to God. Hand to God. And I'd like to know if anybody else was the same. Because, like, even though it looked amazing, and the playability was absolutely there, man, nothing could prepare me for what that bad boy looked up when it was actually hooked up to a proper HDMI setup. And that was about a year later, because I got the PS3 in 2009. Oh, here it comes. Here comes the abuse. Here comes the abuse. I guess they're not satisfied by passing around Kinda Sav or any of these other DSP sector whores. So they got to get their dick off by effing screwing with my career. So get the F out, please. Mods, do your effing thing. So there's a lot of options. There really is a lot of options here. I would advise fans, if you're really wanting the console, if you're really wanting to go high risk, I would say go with this variation. Now, I made the mistake of getting the Super Slim, which I've had no problems with. I've had my Super Slim for about 10 years. Haven't had a problem with it. You know, and I have been using it overnight, laying in bed with it, you know, leaving it on through the night, drifting off to sleep. And I've had no problems. Still have the same accessibility. Now, what I really feel made the console special, and with a lot of experience, a lot of in bed, laying in bed, no life, no DMs, no piece of ass to roll over on top of when I'm bored. I spend a lot of time with my PS3, even though, you know, I have an Xbox Series X. I have a pretty strong, powerful gaming laptop. And I still find myself enjoying the Super Slim. And the reason I love it is it truly is a multimedia system. It can play DVDs. It can play Blu-rays. It can play PS3 physical. It can play PS1 physical. Memory cards can be created on the system for PS1 and PS2. You can download, MP3s, videos, put them on your system and relax to some of your favorite comforts. I have, I don't have too much, but I uploaded all my CDs. I think I put a bunch of like Angry Nerd videos on there back then. And, I love it. It brings me, I have the whole Spider-Man animated series on there. And I really think it's a great multimedia system. Even James Nintendo Nerd himself said it's still his main use of a Blu-ray player. So there's a lot of options, a lot of accessibility. Well, here's where we get into some of the peripherals, which I think is a little iffy. I think in a way, PS3 really raised the bar. Yours couldn't play counterfeit DVDs. Mine plays burnt DVDs. Which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But, yeah, I mean, I always find going back, though, the controller is like a little uncomfortable to hold. It kind of has a bit of like a lightness to it that doesn't really kind of give it the heft that maybe like an Xbox Series controller has, which I'm way more used to at this point. It's definitely kind of feeling the age. And it's getting harder and harder to get these original controllers. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that my sacrifice means something. I've taken enough abuse, and I'm done with it. Whatever I can give left, I'm giving it, and I'm saying screw them effing all. So thank you for being here. But yeah, a lot of options in peripherals. But one thing that I also find really innovative when it comes to PlayStation and everything they've done and everything they've given was the fact that, and we've done the PSP. The PSP was almost essentially, it was like a hybrid between a PS3 and a PS2. It kind of had that same layout. Okay, if you're going to come in here and say unsub, then get the F out. Like I said, I'm sick and tired of these DSP circle jerkers. Like I said, they can't get their private parts hard because they can't tear down DSPs. Too successful, too powerful. Oh, but they can look at a small-time guy and try to destroy their career, and then all of a sudden their private parts are hard. Just look at that bro-side effing Phil. Sick bastard. Claims he's an ex-cop, but he supports a movement that embraces hate, embraces abuse, embraces people being torn down to the lowest. So he's a disgrace to that profession. And I think he and his family should be ashamed of he should not only be ashamed of himself, his family should be ashamed of him cultivating that hatred. They probably took his gun away. He can't get hard anymore. So he A-logs DSP for his effing dick to get up. God, it makes me sick when I'm trying to come on here. I'm trying to talk PS3. And that's the kind of crap I have to deal with. Anyway, so where were we? We were talking accessories. Now, one of the accessories that I do really enjoy is the Blu-ray controller, which I actually did buy And you know what? I would actually suggest to anyone to actually pick this up, because this is actually, you might not think so. They're a little expensive, but these are really effing nice pieces here. And I do have one. When I'm watching Blu-rays, when I'm watching DVD seasons, I love this. It really does feel like it was well put together. And it was a really good piece at its time. I've seen some of the other controllers for some of the earlier systems. They didn't really hit as hard. But if you like watching media on your PS3, you're going to absolutely want to get your hands on one of these. Do I have a PSP? No, I do not. I did have one, and I had one at the peak of the release. Probably less than a year after it came out. And I loved it. I gave my life for it. Wasn't going to school. Was saying, screw you, Mom, I'm not turning off the PSP. It was a great console. It really was. I think going back to it now is a little difficult because a lot of the games, you know, aren't really optimized that well. I really think, you know, if you're in it to play, yeah, $40. I don't think $40 is that bad for an exclusive, actual, in-the-package retro PlayStation piece. Bluetooth. I couldn't do without mine, you know, especially because, like, a lot of the time I lay in bed and I have a TV set up, PS3 on the floor, so it's kind of a pain to have to get up and, you know, especially when I start getting bed sores or from the time I spend in bed, it can be challenging. And like I said, when I'm in the hospital, when I'm at the end of my biological journey, I do truly hope that I still have my PS3. And that's what I'm preparing for in doing it now. Having a PS3 and a TV next to my bed. I'm fantasizing about that time and mentally preparing. But it is really an incredible piece. Like I say, it's hard to make a recommendation. I would assume a lot of fans have their PS3. I think it's a great system to really keep kicking around. There's a lot of confusion because there was a lot of controversy going around that had to do with the store closing. So a lot of YouTube clout chasers were really artificially driving up that market by saying the PSN is going to be closing. The PSN is not going to sell games anymore, so you're going to buy these pieces. The store is still up. The store is absolutely still up. The only caveat to that at this time is you have to actually go on the website and add credits to your account. And then you go to the PS3 store and you can still buy PS3 games, PS1 classics, PS2 classics. Now, here's a great comment from a real fan. In the nursing home, I'm going to have my physical, have PWR Punishers. Fans, you know that you've made an impact. You know that you've changed lives. When you have fans telling you that your content is going to be nursing home comfort. You know, these effing other hateful effing boneheads who couldn't do a positive thing in their lives if they had a goddamn gun to their ball sack aren't going to have that same impact. So thank you so much for that. We also have Lobotomy Guy. I'm buying a GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment next month. I have saved up enough money where you're going to want to keep saving, baby. You're going to want to keep saving because those GameCube games, you can go back into the archives. We did a GameCube expose. Those games are expensive, baby. Those games are expensive. Butts the Ashtray Miner says, did you see that Microsoft updated the 360 and ruined the classic UI that everyone loved? I don't think Xbox will last another 10 years. Well, I hope it does. I like Xbox. They've been doing some shady practices. We've heard the stories about the games being taken off the shelves. But dude, like if you're a gamer like me who has made a life of it, I think the Game Pass is like an incredible value. Like so many full featured games, monthly subscription, games are on sale like all the time. And I mean, damn, since I've had a Series X, I've probably only bought like, I don't even know, probably 10, less than 20 games. Yeah, they raised it. It's probably even more expensive over here in Canada. So we'll see. I mean, I think Xbox is definitely more for like casual gamers. I use it a lot to play Marvel Rivals. I play like Overwatch and a few other things, and that's really all I use it for. Here come the allegations. Here come the allegations. Which are not true. You know, that's defamation of character there that you're doing. You've traded in your Series S. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. But anyway, I'm hot. I'm worked up. I showed you the console. And now, like, you know, I think this is reasonable. You know, of course, these are Canadian prices. So honestly, for you American dudes, it's probably even cheaper. I would say now is the time. Now is the celebration. Now is the time to get in touch with your memories and your histories. I mean, good Lord, even look at this. Now, I don't know exactly what all is included here, but you got the PS3 Slim. And you got 10 effing physical games. Excuse me, baby. Excuse me for that. $79.99. $79.99. Now, we've covered a lot of bundles on Hot for Physical. We've covered a lot of different eras. I think, you know, assuming that everything is working order here, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a controller or whatever, we'll give that its due. That's an incredible value. That's an incredible value. No, you know what? I don't defend Ethan Ralph. In fact, he's a disgusting effing pig who's running around with someone who looks like his effing daughter, who's, you know, in a secret group on X with other effing DSP circle jerkers like Snort Hogan, like Gahool, inviting me in and, you know, being very anti-LGBTQT plus CX $. Because that's their mentality. And I literally, honestly, I hope that Ethan Ralph rolls over effing dead. As far as I'm concerned, so I don't defend him at all. That's all I got to say. He's a disgusting effing gout-ridden effing pig. And I'm not, that's it. Yes, exactly, we got that. I have that title. I have that title. You know, us real men, you know, we want real women. We don't want somebody that looks like our daughter that we can hold under our control. And like that's sick. That's what he does. Because I don't think somebody like Ethan Ralph could actually intellectually stimulate a real woman. That's why he needs somebody around a daughter's age. Can hardly even put a sentence together. He's too effing brain damaged. Again, let's get back on the track here of what we really want to talk about. You know, there's so much more to a woman than an ass. That's why I refer to them as a piece of ass. Because that's all they are. We want a piece of ass with a brain behind it. Thoughts on Little Big Planet? I did have a piece back in that era that liked it, who played it, and we would play it here and there, and that's really all I know about it. I remember it being interesting. I remember liking the thought of all the different achievements you could get through playing it. I like the custom levels. But I mean, look at this. You got Grand Theft Auto 5, which honestly, like, if you didn't have any other options, See, one thing I want to get into this too, and why I have so many fantasies about the PS3, is I do truly believe, I mean, take away the Series X, take away the laptop, take away whatever, and if you just had a PS3, I think you would still be, like, tremendously entertained. Like, I think you would really start to kind of feel the era, the datedness. But dude, if you're one of those gangster dudes living in the trap house, nothing wrong with the PS3, man. Zachary Hasbrock says, hey, PWR, did you ever play Devil May Cry? No, I didn't, but I actually bought the PS3 trilogy, so I'm hoping at some point to give that series a try. But I mean, if you're just looking at the bundles here. Oh, thank you, Butt in the Ashtray Miner. Guys, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate the support. I really do. You know, especially, you know, with the way I've been abused and my career being devalued. This wasn't coming on to get support. This was coming on to continue a series that I believe that the real fans, the fans with a brain, the fans who want positive content, want me to do. It's an era in gaming I never covered, so this is for you. And the fact that the fans are still contributing is like, I'm incredibly grateful for that, and it means everything. So thank you, but let's not focus on it. Let's keep doing our thing. Yes, Metal Gear Solid 4, man, was a masterpiece. It really was. And I'll get into that later. Okay, we have another effing lobotomized, effing dickless brainhead in here saying he has evidence I touched those kids. Dude, I haven't been around a child, like, since I was effing, like, in daycare. I don't want to be around like I said, I wouldn't even date somebody that was 18, 19, 20. So that's just, you know, a reflection of where your mind is at. Has nothing to do with my sexuality, has nothing to do with my preference. The Simpson game for PS3, I've never actually played that. Anyway, these effing boneheads are screwing me up when I want to do this for the fans. So I'm not even gonna look. I'm not even gonna look at the chat here. I'm gonna keep talking. So you're looking at bundles. You know, you don't have a lot of options. I mean, we're talking $120 here with the complete system. I think that's a thing that you're gonna have to really realize too, is that when you go PS3, a lot of the servers are gonna be down. A lot of certain portions. Yeah, exactly. We're not browsing the Instagram feed looking for whores twerking their ass. We're looking at PS3 physical, baby. The way it should be for us aging gamers now, because we are aging. And when we go back and we celebrate these eras, it's like we're recapturing our vitality again. And that's what this channel is about tonight. So that is a big deal breaker. And, you know, I'm not saying anything new here. I'm not going to say anything new, but you have to kind of be ready for that. Like, these games are like dirt effing cheap, and we're going to get into that celebration, but you kind of have to realize a lot of them aren't going to be accessible. But the shocking thing is, some of these games you can still play online. People are still playing Call of Duty. People are still playing, you know, games here and there, which is a complete shock that some of these servers are like still going here. Incredible. Incredible. Now, what I really loved, and you're looking at Dead Island here, what I really personally loved about the PS3 was the games that had the drop-in, drop-out co-op. Like you see Borderlands here. Those type of games were some of my favorites back then. I mean, a lot of games, I don't think they really do that as much anymore in a lot of games. Like, I'm talking Resident Evil 5, I'm talking Borderlands. No, I do not own a jailbroken PS3. I own a legitimate PS3. I will thank you very much. But I mean, look at these bundles. I mean, now when I look at these games, the first thing I do think is these have been ported to like every console since then, which I think in a way really showcases the showing power of this era, man. I mean, we got Prince of Persia, we got LA Noire, we got Borderlands, we got Uncharted 3 and 2 and 1, Infamous, the BioShock series. Like all those titles almost, maybe give or take one or two, have been ported, you know, and we got Skyrim, you know, which, you know, fat bearded women are laying in bed still playing to this day to get away from their husbands. So I think, again, it's hard to convince the modern consumer that this is an era worth celebrating, but it really is. I mean, if $120 in this economy, what are you gonna get? Like one Switch game? Are you gonna go to Walmart and buy one Switch game when you could have virtually like an entire library here? Incredible. And like I said, fans, you want to be warned because these are Canadian prices. I would assume in the States, things are even cheaper here. Sorry. Now, here is something I really want. Honestly, hey, you know, I don't come on here and ask for anything. But if there's one thing I want, I swear it's this. I want this PS3 gun. And I do believe that would be so much fun, even to this day, to have that. Shout out for the comments if you've ever experienced the PS3 light gun. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think there's some Time Crisis games. There's some House of the Dead games. There's like some Tom Clancy games that use them. So, like I said, if I get pissed off and it's not, you know, the proper season to be out in the wilderness, there's no better way I could imagine getting my ideas than this. But it's a little frustrating because I think you do have to have this PS Move thing, which I think is bullcrap. I was kind of close to pulling the trigger on it a few times because I would like to get the whole gun set up. But it seems a little expensive. Like if you got this set up, see, that's the kind of thing that sucks. You have to have a camera hooked up. You have to have like 2 of these. Then you got to buy the light gun. So even though PS3 is reasonably like a pretty budget console, I kind of think that if you want to get into this portion of the library, you're gonna be spending some money. Albeta NYC, the Wii has some good light gun games. I never played Wii for more than maybe a few minutes. I have one friend coming up that had a Wii, and he had like a modded Wii. So when we hung out, we would just play like Super Nintendo. We didn't play a lot of like Wii games. So that's really all I know about the Wii. Maybe it would be an interesting system to sample at this stage of my life. Yeah, those Resident Evil light gun shooters would be awesome. And that's kind of what I was hoping with the Switch, because the Switch unknowingly to a lot of people, does have motion controls. You can play motion controls with like Duke Nukem 3D. You can play House of the Dead. But when I really got set up, I was like, you know, trying to calibrate and, you know, get my skill intact, transitioning to a video game console than what I'm used to doing. And I wasn't really feeling it. There's a lot of calibration that needs to be done. And even Mario Golf had a pretty cool golfing mechanic. I had the Wii. The golf and tennis game were great. Also played Bully on it. Brother, I didn't even know that the Wii had Bully on it. That would be kind of cool. Because back then, I think the Wii was really... Now, I apologize if I offend. How many of you do... Just sound off. How many dudes in the chat tonight said no to the PS3, said no to the Xbox 360, but said yes to the Wii? I genuinely want to know if you dudes are out there. Because I think back then, in these eras, the Wii was still like such a fantastical console that I think it took a lot of time for people to really realize that it did have more of like a fun factor than a groundbreaking, like how are you gonna have a Wii when like Fallout 3 was coming to consoles? When like Oblivion was coming to consoles? Like, there's no effing way, dude. When Call of Duty went online with Modern Warfare 4. Like, there's no way. But yeah, it was gimmicky, so maybe now, if you're willing to put down the premium and actually spend to get a Wii and a couple games, like maybe it might be more fun to mess around with now. Because I think back then you just would have felt like you were missing out. Love Tap Sucker says, I remember how effing hard it was to get a Wii. The first year it came out, it was like finding the Turbo Man. Yeah, I remember that too, actually. I remember seeing news reports. I remember my ailing grandmother asked if I wanted a Wii. And I was like, no, I want the PS3. So anyway... Let's get into what I am passionate about, what I've given my life for at this point. Because like I say, when I say no life, no wife, no ass, it's not just a catchphrase. It's not just something I slap on a t-shirt. It is a way of life. And I've really been coping with that isolation and, you know, that self-doubt and, you know, that loneliness by really celebrating PS3. And I mean, look what we're seeing here. We're gonna do it the way I do it. We're gonna go buy it now. And we're gonna go, if I can find it here, hold on. No shipping. And we're gonna look at the modern prices and why I think, I mean, we haven't looked at Xbox 360, but I didn't celebrate that console. This is what I celebrated. And now looking back to my youth, here's what I'm finding. That this is absolutely one of the standout showcases of physical shopping that you're going to want to do, whether it's in the pawn shops, whether it's on the eBay, whether it's the Facebook marketplace, whatever it is. Now here actually, fans, is a piece that I would recommend picking up. I have a copy. I got a copy for $20. The Hitman HD Trilogy. Now this is an incredible all on disc, no download voucher, no crap like that they're doing in 2025. 3 of the most violent, cool, shooting, killing games that were featured on the PS2, unedited, right here. And I would absolutely recommend it. This collection still gets a lot of use on my PS3 when I'm pissed off. And, you know, I want to kind of, you know, get some ideas and, you know, play around with, you know, some different scenario. This is what I'm playing. So right now you're seeing $43.99. It's getting up there. I would recommend picking this up. I love the Hitman games. They're a lot of fun. See, that's what I'm really about when it comes to the PS3 are these collections. Like right here, we had Banjo Friend talking about the infamous. Now this is a little high priced here. We're talking $34.99, but as far as I believe, this series has not been ported to other mainstream consoles. Juan Juarez says Hitman Contracts is the best Hitman. You know what, brother? I'm starting to really come around to Contracts. I really am. I love Blood Money, but I like Contracts a lot too. But again, you're kind of seeing some of the more showcase pieces that are going up in value. Again, I think the deeper you get in, if you see pieces that are exclusive to that console, you're going to be paying more for them. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Mafia 2. Now, I have this piece here. $8. $8 physical for an incredible story-based game that I'm sure a lot of you have played. I'm actually currently playing through it now. I've taken a break. I love the series, and this is looking a little beat up, but I mean, it's not that hard to get like a premium physical copy of a lot of these games for dirt cheap. Now, this looks something a little more... Now, this ain't any kind of game that I'd be paying for, but we're talking $42 for this one Chibara Kazuga no Bikini Squad. I don't know if any of you dudes are interested in a piece like this. That you know, and that's not bad. $42 for something that's considered more premium, more hard to come across. Isn't exact. There's nothing wrong with that. Brother, you got me emotional over Mafia 2. You want to talk Mafia 2, brother? I remember Mafia 1. Playing it on the PC. No modern remaster. No, you know, what do they call them? Mods, nothing. Just vanilla, plain Mafia 1. And it was an incredible experience. It blew my mind. It was hard as hell. I threw a lot of tantrums. You know, my parents were really getting angry at how mad I was getting playing this Mafia game, swearing and hitting the keyboard. But it so many great memories. Hitman Contracts is 89 cents on Steam. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've said. A lot of these pieces that you can get physical might be cheap on the Steam app. But if you want to hold a piece in your hands, put it in your collection, open that case, smell the history, hold it close to your face, pop that disc out and put it into the console, then you're not going to want to pay the 89 cents for Steam. What part did you get stuck on in Mafia 1? I remember getting stuck on that effing race, but I actually do remember going on GameSpot and looking up an exploit. But there's also that mission at the funeral where you're like going across the rooftops and shooting against the cops and stuff. That was effing hard. So many, just looking at these titles again, man, is taking me back. I mean, $2 for an Assassin's Creed game. I'm actually currently, for the first time ever, playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I've never been really into the Assassin's Creed titles, but I thought maybe giving one a chance while I'm laying in bed with the lights off and, you know, spending time alone, I might be able to get into it. And it's for PS3, man. It's pretty effing nuts what they were able to squeeze out of that game for that time. Now, here's a classic. Here is an effing classic that deserves to be accessible again. How many of us remember how effing epic, scary, refreshing that this Condemned 2 was? Now, I never played the first one. I never played the first Condemned, but I played this one and I absolutely loved it. Like, who remembers the mannequin factory? Who remembers that cabin where the bear comes in and chases you through the level? Man, this game really had something to say. And I don't really know who the developers were. I don't really know a lot of the history behind it, but damn, this game hit back then. It was awesome. You know what? I should pop that premium. This game is awesome. Honest, I don't know the first one at all. This game is like one of the standout horror titles. Now, I haven't played it since that original era. But I'd love to get back in. And there's also no trophies too, so it's one of the early releases, but it is amazing. And I just, like, look at this. How could you go wrong? And this is what I'm talking about too. Like, in this era, have I tried emulation of PS3? No, I have not. And I don't appreciate you calling me pimp, because we all know, you know, where that term comes from. What effing hate creator, what effing bonehead uses that term? So I would appreciate if you don't use that language here. But no, I haven't emulated PS3. The furthest I've got is pretty much PS2 and GameCube. That's really the most depth I've got with using those alternative methods to play games. But I mean, look at this. I mean, in this economy, especially over in Canada, when the postal workers just, you know, decide not to go to work every other week or two, and our shipping rates get higher, $4.64 for a physical, and it is greatest hits, which I cannot effing stand these red greatest hits cases. I think they're effing ugly, and I like the color red. Oh, you got it from Wings. Okay, well, again, you know, another reason Duty Streams is just an effing clout chasing sad sack of hate, of garbage, dumpster diving for catchphrases to use on his own program. So thank you for clearing that up. But I can't stand them. And actually, Radical Reggie, baby, who I am hot for, put forward a really great use for these red cases. He uses them for horror titles. Now, I wouldn't do that myself, but it's a cool idea. But I think they're effing ugly, man. I don't like these red cases at all. But I mean, geez, like that price, nuts, awesome. And like I said, that, like, honestly, if I lose everything, my career, you know, my laptop, like if I lose everything and have to go back to the bachelor apartment with a kitchen right in my bedroom, you know, this is the console I'm going to be taking with me. And this is why, like, there's hours of experiences here that you can get for like under $20. Dragon Age Origins, which I actually just got for $5, man. And I mean, I haven't played it. I played it when it first came out and I absolutely loved it. which is something to say because I'm not a medieval guy. I'm not a medieval guy, like, at all. But I love this game. And I'm looking forward to firing it up on my bedside PS3 console and really getting in there again. Were you a Freedom Fighters fan? No, I never played that title. I am aware that it was made by the same person who made the Hitman games, I believe. Now, here is actually a piece that I recently just ordered that, hopefully, when we do our tribute to the early years of DSP and what made him relevant back then and what, you know, he had to say, this'll be the game that I'll be showcasing during that tribute if I can get it up and running. I think that's the only way to do it. So I actually did order a copy of this game, and I mean, look, $6.99 to pay tribute. Now, I can't wait, because one thing I do love about this game is that bonus, like, serial killer scenario where you're like that girl character and you sneak into this guy's house and you find out like he's a serial killer and you sneak under the, like, that is nuts, man. That was awesome. So I can't wait to play this again. And this will probably, if I can get it up and running, this will be the game that I'll showcase during that tribute that I'm planning at some point in the future. But yeah, $6.99. Now here, again, as I was saying, some of these products are where the real money is going. I mean, $29.99 Tomb Raider Trilogy. This is something I would consider maybe looking at. I've never talked about them much on the air. I do like those modern Tomb Raider games. Oh, thank you, baby. It's John C. is following over on the alternative tonight. This is a celebration for you guys, the fans. This is me giving everything I have left to give for an era that meant something to me. Prodigal Stun says we need a return of Dungeon Crawler. Well, don't you have Diablo 4? Ever sampled Dead Space? Yes, I have. I did. I was always a game, I mean, I like it, but I don't know. It just never really, like, stuck with me. Maybe I got to go back and re-celebrate it. I'm sure it's, like, dirt cheap now. We'll take a look. Coming up. We're just looking at the titles. If I have something to say, I'm going to say it. But yeah. Beautiful. I'm being brought back. And like I said the other day, man, I literally walked to the pawn shop like I would have done in this era to get a new game. Had $20 in my pocket. Walked to the pawn shop to bring myself back to when there was still an excitement. Your parents giving you $20 and you go down to the pawn shop and you get a few games. I recaptured that. So when I see these PS3 titles, I get emotional. Now here's something kind of weird. I never sampled this, but I am a Bond guy. I have all the titles on the original DVD release that I actually did get on the Facebook Marketplace for like $20. I got like all 4 volumes, like this many of them. I love the Bond series. Especially the Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan eras. $29.99. And I've never played this, but I have heard that actually, that this is one of the better Bond titles on the PS4, or PS3, sorry. Somebody wanted me to look up Family Guy. Now, Family Guy is not something I agree with. I think it's sick. I think it's disgusting. And, you know, shows like Family Guy are the reason why we have these DSP SECTUR detractors, because their parents probably stuck them in front of a Family Guy DVD while they were bringing in whore after whore or penis after penis into their bedroom. They just stick their kid in front of the Family Guy. And that's where I believe a lot of these DSP SECTUR people came from, upbringings like that. Jamie says the PS1 Bond game taught me how to play blackjack when I was a kid. Teaching kids how to gamble, you know, you got to be ready. You got to be prepared for the future. Now here's a game I really love. Now, it's kind of a shame what they did to it. I love this game, and there was a lot of controversy that they put out this big production, and then the game was like nothing like that. I loved this game back in this era. Man, it was innovative, man. It really was. Nowadays, when you play this, you're really seeing the formula of this era. But man, this was just, I love this Deadeye. Like the first one, baby. The first one and the Riptide one, I loved. And I'd love to go back and celebrate those again. And that's the thing, man. It blows my mind. Is a lot of these PS3 games, like Resident Evil 5, you can still play online. Like, I remember playing Resident Evil 5 online, like, a few months ago with an open lobby and just some random, like, Japanese text guy joining me and playing with me for, like, 2 or 3 hours. You ain't gonna get that on a lot of the other legacy consoles. Especially the fact that if you look at a lot of countries, too, they're, like India, like, you know, like Afghanistan, you know, they're probably just getting a PS4 now. They're probably just able to afford like PS4 now. So I would assume that in a lot of these other countries, man, PS3 is probably still where it's at. Anyway, I will, beyond my better judgment, I will look at Family Guy here. Here's another thing too. PS3 is really, really good for sports games. Now, the only sports games that I really have celebrated recently are golf, NASCAR, and a little bit of hockey recently. But they are like dirt effing cheap. Graphics are really good. Gameplay is usually pretty tight, pretty solid. If you're hot for a certain sport, just get online, put best Tiger Woods game for PS3, best NHL game, best Madden game. And you'll probably spend like less than $10 to get like a really solid sports game for this console. But yes, because one fan did ask that, I will look that up. Now, I never played this. Oh my God. $70! Oh, Miltrident, you have no idea. The UFC Undisputed 3 was hot. And actually, that's on my list. That's on my list of PS3 to pick. It hasn't been, I believe it hasn't been on any other console. Multiple leagues, multiple federations, multiple characters, and a great season. Unbelievable. I also like the 2010 one too, with Brock on the cover. That one is really good too. You guys are gonna have me, you know, I wanted to do that at some point, but I can't do it. And I probably wouldn't do it anyway. I'm trying to be responsible with my money, but I thought it would be really cool to just take like $100 and see how much you could get for the PS3. You'd probably have like a ton of stuff for just like $100. Oh yeah, those UFC games, man, were like revolutionary. I like the early UFC. You know, I remember watching the tapes, catching it here and there on TV. And I remember playing the first one that came out on the PS1. And it was like absolute, like hot effing garbage. But man, when they released that UFC Undisputed, like it was a game changer, man. Those games, like, I haven't played them in years. God, you guys are getting me hot for the history. Fight Night Champion was incredible too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I also like that MMA game too, if you guys ever played that. Facebook Marketplace is the modern flea market. That is true. That is true. You know, I went to a flea market here recently and it was absolutely embarrassing. There was like nothing there. Garbage. What was the last great boxing game? I would probably say Fight Night Champion. Probably, dude. I remember hearing rumors that they were supposed to make like a new boxing game with Jake Paul as the featured. Which is like disgusting. But, might have been okay. It's been enough time has passed. Yeah, I think the last UFC game I played was like 2. And I didn't like it. Turok on the 64, take me back. I haven't really properly celebrated that series, surprisingly, because I love killing games. I love violent shooting games. But Turok was one that always kind of escaped me in that era. I was never like a dinosaur guy. I always had this connotation like dinosaurs are kind of like for kids when I was like, you know, getting into my like preteens. So I never celebrated. I would rather shoot real people than dinosaurs in the N64 games. How's that monster treat? Actually, you know what? I almost forgot. I have a whole effing bag of Burger King here. So let's just take a break here for a minute. We're an hour and 20 in. I'm going to eat another burger. I'm going to answer some questions. We'll just shoot the crap. Have I played Dusk? No, I have not. Have you? I think there's like this new game that came out called like Ion Fury. That was like made by the same people who made Duke 3D. Which is one that I want to play here. Dusk. I just got a couple of burgers, baby. Just a couple of burgers. You're damn right. I love the game Dusk. It's so good. Is it violent? Oh yeah, Shane? I will die for Monster Energy drink if I have to. I'm addicted. I love them. What do you think of the French toast sticks at Burger King? I never had them, but I do like Burger King's breakfast. Actually, the last time I had it was when I got Donkey Kong Bonanza in the morning. I went to Burger King. I sat my butt down in the booth, ordered like a croissant wedge and a coffee and hash browns. And I was there again. I was in a good place. I was in a warm place. Now, when I got to Walmart and tried to buy Donkey Kong Bonanza, it was absolutely like a criminal, you know. Oh my God. You have to fight your way out of everything trying to kill you, so I guess it's violent. Cool, I'll check it out. Dusk, he calls it. He calls it Dusk. I'll take a look. I'll take a look. I'll put it in my wish list. And maybe I'll pop it. Oh, the Quarry is on sale. The Quarry is on sale for $11.99. Now, after we did Detroit Become Human, I've been really hot. Because I haven't really experienced that genre of like the interactive cinema-esque games. And I wanted to do a horror one. And I'm really curious about this Quarry. Because I don't know what it's about, but I love the cover. It kind of gives me that like Friday the 13th kind of vibe. With like the silhouette of the man standing in the back. So I'm kind of hot for it. And if I have the time with the transition that I will be making, we'll celebrate it. I'm just looking here now. He calls it Dusk. It says it's free. Dusk HD. Free. Oh, you have to actually buy the game. It's like $24.99. Thoughts on Heavy Rain? I haven't played it in forever, but like I said, it was revolutionary back then. That's how I found that other 3-lettered content creator. Because I was so hot. I didn't have the money to buy a new release. So I was watching videos on Heavy Rain. I was watching the reviews. And then I found this little known Let's Player, Dark Side Phil, as he was known at that time. And he was doing a playthrough. And that's when it all started. I can't wait until the day we pay tribute to the man known as Dark Side Phil. Well, not the man he's known as. The man that he was known as. We will be celebrating, and I'm going to be saying screw the detractors on that one. Trust me. Okay, that's my second burger. Cheers. You guys have been incredible tonight. And I'm going to put out, I already talked about it, wait until Saturday. Wait until Saturday. I mean, I don't want to put any expectations up. I had a friend of the channel who reconnected me with my childhood game that I remember. I mean, we're talking, oh man, I don't know, 99, 2000, 2001. That, you know, my grandmother would take me to the local mall, would take me shopping at the Zellers, and we would go over to the food court. We would get the Lebanese Canadian, you know, cheeseburger and fries. And I would go to the arcade. And I would play Die Hard Arcade, which I have not played since that era. And a true friend of the channel showed me an avenue where I can celebrate that game again. And it's going to be incredible. I am actually going to go. I don't know if I'm going to film it or anything, but I am going to go to that same Lebanese Canadian, I don't know what you call it, diner, whatever. It's just a food stand, but it's still there. The son is the owner now. And I'm going to get that 90s, 2000s cheeseburger and fries. And I'm going to bring myself back there. And I think it's going to be incredible. So that will be Saturday. I'm hoping sometime in the afternoon to really recapture that era. Have you ever played any interactive PlayStation camera games such as the iToy? No. I've never played any interactive games. The most I got was playing Mario Golf with the Switch Joy-Cons or whatever. That'd pretty much be it. Anyway, let's get back to talking some of the history here. Hopefully tonight, if anything, I'm able to kind of inspire you guys to embrace this era, because I really believe, and you know, I don't know much about the Xbox 360. It could be similar to these prices, but I'm a PS3 guy. Even though I'm an Xbox guy in this era now, I'm a PS3 guy. Ask if you could do an interview on stream, the legend of the Lebanese father and the son. No, it was, and they are, I'm not like they were, that's their background. And it was like the father with the balding, with the kind of gray coming out, who'd be like walking, you know, back and forth, flipping the burgers, and he'd have that hearty like cough while he was cooking the food. And now it's the son, who's probably in that like elder millennial category, and now he has the son who's sort of like the broccoli cut Rizzler looking kid. Yeah, they're a powerful family here. Like everybody knows them. Xbox and PlayStation are still affordable. Rip Nintendo. Dude, Nintendo has pissed me off, baby. Absolutely, dude. Like, I am so, you know what? The truth is, man, with the Switch 2, I want to love it. Like, I want to love it. I want to be in my bed and celebrate and really forget the world and, you know, embrace that no life, no wife, no piece of that, and just get into the Switch. Like, really give myself to it. And I'm just not able to do it, baby. Like, here's what I play on the Switch 2. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I do love. It's not the Donkey Kong that I remember growing up, but it is a version of Donkey Kong I really enjoy. I would give that game a solid 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Castlevania Legacy Collection Advance. Love it. It almost gives me the vibe of like a mobile game. Like you can just kind of turn your brain off, go through the castle, whip some enemies, and maybe you'll progress, maybe you'll fight a boss. I really like that game. I've never played a Castlevania that was an RPG, so I never played Symphony of the Night or any of the other DS ones. I have Castlevania Advance, and I love it. I have the original Castlevania collection, which I play. I have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or something that I tried to get into, and I just feel like I can't give myself the same way I even can for PS3. The PS2 3D Castlevanias were amazing. Really, I never sampled them. Like I'm a recent Castlevania fan. I remember learning Castlevania from James and Mike, because when I was growing up, I actually did own Dracula X, but I didn't really know it as Castlevania. It was just like a game that I had, and I loved it. But it wasn't until later on, you know, when James and Mike did the whole Castlevania coverage that I really started learning the history. Area of Sorrow, that is what I'm playing right now. That's what I'm playing right now, because I tried the other two. The first one is like garbage. The second one on the collection is like a little better, but I kind of got stuck on it, and then I just started Area of Sorrow. So that's the kind of thing I'm actually looking if I should just transition to the Dominus collection, because I feel like they would be like more mechanically interesting. But I don't know. I'm happy with Area of Sorrow for now. So like I said, I mean, there are avenues of giving your life to the Switch too. But I don't know, it just doesn't capture my attention. And I really get the feeling it could be a real hub for a lot of great classics. Like, I just got the Clock Tower Rewind. I have games that I bought on my original. So, like, I just don't know. It's like, I want to love the Switch too. I want to embrace it. But you know, whether it's the age I'm coming up to, I don't know. It just ain't hitting. And there's so many times I get out in the car and I'm like, you know what, baby? Like, I want to get a Switch game today. Like, I want to get a Switch game. And I never end up doing it. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Dominus Collection kind of sucks because you have both DS screens on one screen. Well, that doesn't bother me too much, because I think that would probably be really good on the handheld Switch. But yeah, you're right. That could be a facet that might have me not that hot. I haven't played a lot of DS games. Anyway, going for, like, here we go. I mean, it's probably not the best, but Final Fantasy, a widely celebrated series, hours of gameplay. We're looking at $9.99, no shipping. This is incredible. This really is. Now, here's a game that I thought absolutely sucked. I don't know how many of you remember playing this one back in the day. I thought it was like hot effing trash. Nintendo is phoning it in. Oh, absolutely. Especially, man, after this fiasco with this effing Pokemon ZA, that was a criminal act. You know, you had this hot new young company trying their hand in the Pokemon market with that whole Pal World thing. They pretty much put the kibosh to that and put out a product that's hot effing garbage. Like, and I wanted to pick up that Legends ZNA. I love the concept that it's actually in a city. Because when I was younger, it was so captivating playing Pokemon and exploring the cities and talking to the characters. I mean, it's not really that much of a part of the game. But back then, like, it was probably like the first open world game I really played. And I was hoping that this new one would kind of recapture that. But apparently it's just like garbage, which sucks, man. Very affordable prices on these games. This is why they want to turn everything digital. Yeah, true. And I think a lot of fans of Switch are really hot right now with what they're doing with this. I've talked about this game keycard thing. I think could have, I almost said the F word. That's how hot I am tonight. I almost said the F word. This game keycard crap, Nintendo, could like absolutely kill your brand. You know, everything that you've created from the original Mario to the N64 to be like that, I think was like the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to the trust that we had in Nintendo. Jamie asks, favorite Pokemon game? I'm just going to say it upward and honestly and openly. It's going to make me come across as an older dude. Pokemon Silver. Absolutely. Pokemon Silver. Like, they need to remake. Like, this is a perfect example. I mean, yeah, there's no booklet. Or $10. No shipping. For a physical, like, dude, like I said, if you, like, that's what I really get captivated about when it comes to PS3. If there was if I lose everything, like everything, as long as I have a little LCD TV and a PS3, I think I could be, and maybe a weight set or something that I have, like, that's it. That's like peak male existence. And that's the mentality that PS3 gives me, is just when you're ready to lose everything, this could still be there for you. And hopefully I'm kind of showcasing that. I'm sure a lot of viewers are aware that PS3 is really a hot piece, a hot collection to really get in there and celebrate. Just got myself a copy of this right here. Cheers to the fans. $7. One of the hottest allegedly hockey games you can get, which is pretty cool. I think it's fun. Graphics are crazy on that game. That honestly, I'm not a big sports guy, but man, the graphics on the effing sports games, man, are nuts. Now here's one other thing I want to look, because I've kind of been slacking in this area. The WE games. WWE All-Stars is pretty hot. Nick Jammy says, I still keep my PS3 hooked up for Blu-rays and Demon Souls. Really? You play? That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about. It's a bedside comfort console. It's a multimedia center. And I really, I'm just so proud to have one. Not only am I proud to have one, I'm proud that I can showcase my passion. I have the Super Slim. I've had it about 10 years, maybe give or take 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I actually think the PS, like I had one and then my original one died. And I actually think the PS3 Super Slim was like the first console I actually did buy with like my own money at that time. SmackDown versus Raw 06 and 07 are worth celebrating. The rest of it, dude, 06 Everybody wants to talk about Here Comes the Pain. Everybody wants to talk about, you know, this and that. 06, I think, really is an absolute showcase piece for PS2. And we played it exclusively on Kick. This is one I kind of want to give a try to again. I've heard a lot of wrestling gamers say that it wasn't really received well at the time, but that this is actually, if you go back and you play this one, that it's actually pretty good, especially on the more modern gen consoles. 2008. Featuring those original 3 Philadelphia letters. This is when I kind of dropped out. Whenever this came out, I think they kind of just went to crap. Like, honestly, that this era, the 15, was not, I didn't even buy it, that one. This one too, I thought was kind of hot garbage. WWE 13 and 14 were like legendary. But I always felt 12 was almost like a new start, and you kind of had to wait for the follow-up. But man, they followed this piece of garbage up with like one of the greatest. That is one that I actually wouldn't mind. Dude, this would be hot to own. A little expensive, a little effing expensive, but that's a hot effing piece. Austin 360 with Austin showcased on the front cover. Dude, that's nuts. But I love WWE 13. I played it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You know, I'd be doing my job as like a dishwasher back then. You know, being torn down to the lowest and, you know, really getting in there, being there till 2, 3 in the morning. And then I would come home and I would play. In fact, this is when I gave up ass. This was the era, 2013. This was probably around the era that I last had a piece of ass here. So definitely some recognition for that era. Very cool. I love that. A little expensive, but I love that piece. That would be a really cool piece to have in the collection. Now, of course, here is All Stars. This one is a bit more expensive. I never played it because back when it was out, I loved like 13 and 14. I actually platinumed 14. I kind of thought this looked kind of dumb. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to play that. That looks like it's for kids or something. Little did I know, once I got into my older years, that this was actually an incredibly hot piece, my apologies. It's really fun. It's not the most in-depth title, but it's pretty fun. It's very reminiscent of that classic WWF the arcade game. Here's one actually I enjoyed too. I platinumed this one as well. It's really easy. It's just a bit of a grind. But this game... Oh, no, I own All Stars. I bought a copy. I actually did pay like the $19.99 or whatever it was, and I have a copy of it. But this was a pretty cool game. I liked it back then, actually. It was actually really funny because I bought it from Blockbuster, and then I platinumed it in like 2 days, and then I like took it back and like got something else. But it was fun. It doesn't get very good reviews, but I thought it was okay. I liked it. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. But with it being Halloween season, we're almost coming up on the 2 hours here for this episode of Hot for Physical I've been wanting to do, you know, for so long. Let's look at some horror. You know, I feel, you know, whatever reason it is that the horror titles really show where the market is at. Now, let's give that a chance. Honestly, this is one of the worst. This was such a disappointment. I still remember to this day, I had a friend at this time And, you know, we'd be smoking a little weed or running around, you know, trying to get into trouble or whatever we were doing. And we both loved Resident Evil. We would talk Resident Evil. And I just remember, like, we would talk about how amazing this game is going to be and how awesome it was going to... And it was just like the worst effing game ever. Especially on the PS3. Now, if you go back and you play this on Steam, I think, or maybe one of the newer consoles, I think some fun can be had with it. But God, that was an effing piece of garbage on the PS3. I hated it. I thought it was just complete trash. Now, a lot of people were recommending me to try this release, this Alien Isolation. Which, I mean, I've seen the movies, but I was never really hot for this franchise, so I never really tried this title. Let me know. Is it something worth celebrating? Is it something really worth getting in there and giving my time to? But I mean, that's pretty expensive for a piece of physical. It is. Now, we had fans talking about this earlier. Now, this is a real showcase piece. It's looking a little beat up there. Nothing that some glue gone I couldn't fix. But we're talking $10. We're talking $10 for a complete Dead Space physical piece. I haven't played this game since it was like first out. It was just a series. I remember when I played it, there was just something about it I couldn't get that into that well. Maybe it was just my head wasn't in the right spot, but I'm kind of curious to go back, and maybe this would be a hot piece to pull the trigger on in the modern era. I'm just kind of looking at some of the... This is a game I really want to try. I don't know if any... I always want to, like, pull the trigger on this game, and I never do. I've never played the BioShock games. But the fact that you actually play as this creature thing here makes me, like, really interested. Like, I bet you can probably get a lot of good kills in this game. Never played it. Always hot to pick it up, $10.99. Maybe I will pull the trigger. But I always just, I don't know much about this franchise, but I love this character that they have, this like underwater like thing. And I would love to try this out and see what it's like. And I think playing it on the PS3 would be a pretty solid showcase. BioShock is legendary. It was just one of those series that kind of passed me by. I never really celebrated that well. Oh my goodness, look at this. So here, this is like the first actual high-risk physical piece that we've seen tonight, which is I've never played this. Has anybody played it? Fight in brutal combat, vicious and gruesome traps. Can you survive Jigsaw's game? Now, this looks awesome. I love the cover art of that. That's awesome. Not that big into the Saw movies. I like the first one. The first one was pretty groundbreaking and pretty revolutionary. I didn't know there was a game showcased on the PS3, but I mean that price, $79. Damn. I remember some people were talking about this title. It's actually still demanding a reasonable premium here, $23.96 for this Darkness game that some people have told me is pretty violent, pretty cool. Now here's another one I'm kind of interested in. I was gonna pull the trigger. Some people told me that it's like not even worth playing on the PS3, that it's probably better if you really want to have an experience with it to play it on, you know, something new, like the Series X or something. Let me know. Have any of you celebrated this Evil Within title here? And I think that's some sort of like holographic slipcover thing there. A lenticular slipcover, they call it. It's good on PC. I think it is made behind with the same. I think the mind behind like Resident Evil 4 created this release. So it's always been something kind of in the back of my mind that I've wanted to celebrate. Here's another game I never played that a lot of people said, you know, this might be like a good physical PS3 game to really go back and really celebrate and give a try. I never played this game. I don't know why. 2013, again, I was getting ass at that time. 2013, I was getting ass then. So I wasn't as focused on a lot of games that came out at that time. But maybe this is something I should go back and really celebrate. $12. $12. Now this is honestly, I like this. I don't care. Like I love Resident Evil. I would give my life for the original era of Resident Evil. And I like this game. I did. It was kind of bullcrap. It was kind of shooter focused. It's incredibly short. But I actually like it. And I actually have it on the Series X and I actually defeated it. I thought it was effing cool. I thought it was cool. Not perfect, but pretty cool. I guarantee there's people still playing this on PS3 online. I wouldn't be shocked. Not a bad price either for a physical PS3 Resident Evil title. Now this was cool too. This was nuts, man. I remember when this came out. This what I bought. So you get this was crazy, dude. Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, 3, 4 HD, and 5. Like, this was, like, back now, it's, like, nothing to look at, really, but this was, like, a premium effing piece, man, then. And I remember, like, I still have those games from this collection still on my effing system to this effing day. And I'm still hot, damn it, to lay in bed, fire up Resident Evil 2, and really, you know, challenge my own demons. Because like I say, when you defeat an original Resident Evil game, you really feel like you've conquered your own demons. Now, Scopely CF, screw the detractors. I'm saying it right here. This is for the real fans. The real fans like the Hot for Physical series. The real fans want me to come on and talk. I'm not tolerating this Twitter PWR crashing out crap. They wanted this effing war. And they're gonna get it. And of course, we do have this. I actually do have this. I own this. I actually got it. It was crazy. I randomly got this on Amazon, brand new, for like $14 or so, like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's not perfect. It does have a lot of issues. But it is cool that you can have Silent Hill 1 digitally and then these two physical. So that's not too bad. There's like no other system you can play Silent Hill 2 and 3 in the modern era. So this actually, even though it does have a lot of issues, in fact, I don't even think you can defeat Resident Evil 3 because there is like a glitch that will crash your game. If you're trying to actually do like a one-run playthrough, you can't do it. Like, I have a friend, I haven't seen him in a long time, but he, like, I've chatted with him here and there, you know, say, oh, Merry Christmas or whatever, like a good friend, I just don't see him. He's like a Silent Hill addict. Like, he's a platinum hunter guy. And he was giving me the breakdown of you know, why there was so many issues with Silent Hill 3 on this version. It was really interesting. I actually like the series. Reminds me of what Pete Dorr does. See, there's a guy who lives with his mother still, and he's openly celebrated. He's positive. He talks the gaming. He celebrates the classic era as well as the modern era. So yeah, if I remind you of somebody like that, there's nothing wrong with that, brother. Thank you, Josh SC. But $25.99 in this modern economy, I don't know. I think that's a little much. I think that's a little much with the known issues. But back then, this was a pretty cool physical release to get on PS3. And we all got a copy. Now, this is kind of crazy because, you know what the truth is? I tried to get into Walking Dead. I kind of think it's kind of effing boring. And I usually like zombie stories. But you know what? This isn't a bad effing game. I remember actually, this was probably one of the last games I rented at the local Jumbo Video. And I actually, for whatever reason, I mean, maybe if I went back and played it now, it wouldn't feel the same. I remember actually thinking this was actually not bad. And it's like super cheap. So, you like horror? You like violent games? If you're hot for Walking Dead, maybe you might get something out of this piece. I thought it was cool. Yeah, a lot of the horror landscape was really changing at this time compared to what we got on the PS1, PS2. But there was still some really great stuff. You know, one of my favorites, which I will shout to the heavens until the day I'm cremated here. Resident Evil 5. Man, I effing loved this game. Loved it. One of my favorites of all time. I know it's controversial to say that. I love this game, and I still distinctly remember this day, man. I had a friend. He liked horror. He just was going on and on about how crappy it was. So I was like, you know, I want to get that game. I'm probably going to buy it here soon. And he actually sold it to me for like, I don't know, I think it was like $30 or $40. Pretty cheap. Probably more than he would have got in credit back then. And I just like absolutely loved it. Like the environment was a little bland, but it was different. Story wasn't that great, but I loved the co-op action. And not only the co-op action, I loved the solo mechanic of like managing the two inventories and like switching between and giving this person ammo and making sure they have ammo for this gun. I love that. I thought it was effing awesome. And it's still hot. I would still play this game. Maybe not on PS3, but I love it. I've defeated it multiple times. If you've slept on this game, baby, and you're an old school original era gaming baby, like you're gonna want to give this one a try. Now, I'm getting emotional here. I'm getting emotional because I was actually playing this game earlier today in preparation. This was a hot effing PS3 release. Regardless of what anybody says, I love this game. I didn't get to play the original. I did not get to celebrate the original Dead Rising. But as soon as I knew that this was coming to the PS3, you better believe I was hot and I was ready. And I think it's one that, like, I feel like Capcom, especially like in this era, they did such a good job of making the games replayable, expansive. They always, I feel, they crafted their achievements really well in these games. So if you're into getting achievements, I always thought these games, like these Capcom games, were like really good at that. Who's this Jade Rasmussen says it's time. Pokemon you play, PW. Brother, unless we're talking Pokemon Silver, I ain't touching any of that modern Pokemon crap with a 10-foot pole. You know, you're going to have to go watch the other blue checkmark shills who are going to, blow smoke up the developer's ass in how great Legend ZNA is. I won't be touching it with a 10-foot pole. I wanted to celebrate it. I wanted to come forward with an open mind and say, here is a new Pokemon game for the Switch 2. I want to give it a chance. And, from everything I've seen, it's a complete dumpster fire. But yeah, I love this game. $8. $8 for hours and hours of entertainment, weaponry, violent kills. Love it. Can't say enough good about Dead Rising. I've defeated that game like multiple times. I still play it, damn it. I still have it like permanently installed on my effing Xbox, and I still play it. I love it. 3 was good too. And I didn't get to play 3 until like within the last few years, but I love that as well. Love the Dead Rising games. Here's another one. I want to actually say, I like this effing game. I don't know if there's any other young dudes or us aging millennial dudes out there who tried this game. I thought it was effing awesome. And I wonder if I re-celebrated it today, if it would be as fun. I loved it. It got completely obliterated in the reviews and stuff. But trust me, man, if you like horror, if you like those original gaming eras, like the whole concept is like New York's in a world of hell and you have to survive. I thought it was awesome. In fact, I'm getting hot. I'm getting worked up wanting to play this again because I love this game, man. If you guys have not tried it, it's a very cinematically based. There's so many cool little details. Like he actually looks down in his pockets to get his weapon. Loved it. Loved it. Great game. And it's still holding a relative premium here. So anyways, fans, that's going to be it for episode 5 of Hot for Physical. We finally got to cover some PS3. I hope that I inspired, not only you young broccoli cuts, but us aging millennials to really go back and to really embrace this era, especially if you're like myself and you don't get ass. The DMs are empty. And you have to really relegate yourself to your bedroom and you're laying in bed all the time. Get yourself a PS3. Get a couple hot physical titles for $10 to $20 and really give yourself to that era. And I'm going to thank you all for being here. I'm going to give everything I can until I have to make a transition in my career. And it doesn't mean I'm going away, baby. I'm not going away. Just like Ozzy in that song talking about his wife waiting for him to die so she can get the money. I'm not going away. But we'll have that conversation when we get there. Oh, thank you so much, Goldie FX, for the super chat. We got a lot of support tonight, and I do appreciate that. I didn't expect that because when I do these Hot for Physical showcases, I know, this isn't really going to set the world on fire, but I think for the real fans, the real friends of the channel, that you guys really like these and you like when I really get in there and showcase, what I gotta stay away from my credit card tonight because I've seen a couple of pieces on here that I'm hot, locked, and ready to unload on myself. So that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the career. Screw the effing detractors. I'm not done. I have a lot more to say. If I'm going to go out, if I am going to give my life, it's going to be in an absolute ball of glory And these detractors are going to be held accountable for it. But I love doing this. I love doing the streaming. So it's a shame that, you know, what's going to happen is going to happen. But I'm not going away. But I love doing it. But it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of abuse. I feel like, you know, I've been through things that I don't want to speak of. That I don't know if we're allowed to say on the mainstream platform. But I appreciate all you dudes over on the mainstream tonight. We have a lot of fans over on the alternative network tonight. So thank you. This is episode 5 of Hot for Physical. I don't know if I was hot as a Pete Dorr eBay showcase, but you gotta start somewhere. So thank you, everybody. Screw duty streams, and that's going to be it tonight. So peace, baby. Until the next one, baby. Until we